The red carpet debut of the film Patriots Day, a dramatization of the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, was held in town this week, where a who's who of survivors, law enforcement, and movie actors converged. The big question, did they get it right, and is it too soon? For anyone living in and around Boston, we hardly need a reminder of the sights and sounds of April 15, 2013. But now the Mark Wahlberg movie, Patriots Day, recreates those days in vivid detail.
It's terrorism. We'll take it. So what do you need? Command center.
The movie's depiction of that command center at Black Falcon Terminal brings us inside an investigation we knew little about.
But I can't just snap my fingers. This decision goes all the way up to the Attorney General.
This is my city, Rick. Release the goddamn pictures.
CBS 60 Minutes producer Michael Radutsky, who was instrumental in the film, says getting it right was critical.
But the challenge is, how do you do a movie about a real story, a real event, especially one as devastating as this, and how do you get it right?
But now some of the survivors and victims are questioning whether it's even possible to get it right. Jessica Kensky and her husband Patrick Downs were featured in the film.
Hearing everyone today, the theme is, did they get it right? And I think that that's an impossible question for a survivor.
As for the timing of the movie, Mark Wahlberg says if his team didn't do it, someone was going to beat them to it.
There were competing movies. At one point, there were 3 films about the marathon bombing, and I was going to make sure that I was going to be the one to honor my community and make sure that it was handled with the respect and sensitivity in which it deserved.
And then Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis thinks they did just that.
Well, I think they nailed it.
At least close enough. Of course, Ed Davis was a paid consultant on that. Well, for the most part, I think they got it. But there were some things that I found disturbing. For one thing, Bowman, what's the first name? Jeff Bowman wasn't in it at all because he's going to be in the next movie that's coming out. So they used all these real pictures of the events of that day, and I'm waiting for him, and I'm thinking, what happened to him? He wasn't in it because he's in the next movie. Nothing about him, not even his name in it. And then the Watertown situation, which was dramatic enough, as you all recall, they added all these scenes where they had police cars blowing up. Well, police cars didn't blow up. They blew up like 3 police cars. So that kind of thing was a little bit overdone. But I think the bigger issue was really, not is it too soon, but you take a real-life news event like this and make it into a dramatization. Is that right? And I always get sort of a hinky feeling about it because in the end it's entertainment, and that's what they're really trying to sell you here.
There's a lot of great movies that are based on real-life events. I mean, we had Spotlight just a year or 2 ago, which is a terrific movie, and I never understand why the need to fictionalize things and change the story around. To me, it really detracts from it, as good a movie as Spotlight is. I haven't seen Patriots Day. I guess very few people have so far. But again, it seems like they took this real-life event that we all experienced. I was not personally affected by it, but we all experienced it, and added these fictional details to it. I would be very interested in a really good documentary about the bombing that reveals things that maybe we didn't know or understand, but I don't know about a fictional movie.
Yeah, there already is a documentary.
Yeah, it really doesn't do much for me.
That's how Hollywood is, right?
Yeah, really.
Whoever the writer of the script is or the producer, they always have certain things they want to throw in there. I think of, was it the movie Noah, where they had these rock monsters running around, and I'm like, what do rock monsters have to do with the story of Noah? I mean, it's the kind of thing that Hollywood loves to do. In terms of the timing of it, I mean, I think there's, as long as you handle it the right way, I don't have a problem with it at all. Certainly if someone was directly impacted by this and they do have a problem with it, I respect that. But I think that, whenever any big event happens, 9/11 or this or other things, news organizations on anniversaries usually do a big, and I know one is news and one is entertainment, but we put it out there all the time, reminding folks about it. And really, something like this, because it is entertainment, maybe you can watch it and you can feel good about what you felt afterwards. I mean, I remember after that happened, I ordered my Boston Strong T-shirts, and there was this sense of community, and maybe you can get that from the film as well.
I think that's why Mark Wahlberg did it now, right? That's what we saw him say in the clip, is that he wanted to make sure that someone from the community did it with as much compassion as possible. Now, did he get everything right? No. Did he dramatize some things? Yes. I think for me, the two salient questions are, was there a need for a big red carpet thing? I think the timing of the movie is fine. People are always going to feel raw about these things whenever a movie comes out and survivors are still alive. I mean, when Schindler's List came out, Holocaust survivors were and are still alive. So it's always going to be raw, but do we need to have the glitterati and the paparazzi on the red carpet?
That's Hollywood.
Right. That aspect of it, maybe they could have dampened that down a bit. The second issue for me, though, is this issue that so many of our teenagers and young people today get their history from movies. And there's both a positive and a negative to that. On the one hand, maybe they wouldn't know about any of these things, whether it's Selma or Gettysburg or these great movies that have been made about historic events are educational, but they're also teaching some things that are incorrect.
And that's my issue, because I always worry about the Mississippi burning of these things. The Mississippi burning was a completely messed up fictional tale of what happened to the civil rights workers in Mississippi. And this is not that, as I hear you saying it, but at the same time, really, people take those details and they will repeat them back to you as if they were fact. This sounds like it tried to do, get closer to it. So I just don't understand. Don't change anything that, I mean, it's dramatic enough.
That's exactly right.
It's dramatic enough. You don't really have to add anything. So that's what I would say about this. The timing for me, I guess I'm just, it just feels weird, and I think it's their attempt to try to get into the Oscar race, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not really. I wasn't that concerned about the timing. I mean, people always say that when somebody dies, and they say, "Oh, are you dating?" And then say, "Oh, it's too certain." It's all individual. No,
well, no. I guess what I was thinking that if you're going to do it, I'd do it around the time of the marathon. To me, than now. Then
well, it's coming out in January for real.
Okay.